Thanks very much for tuning in to Unmissable. I'm Nabila Jamal. I take you through the top news from India and across the globe. Let's start with our deep dive segment tonight. We're going to take you through India's AI summit. As much as this is a visionary summit with India's AI prowess also on full display, along with attracting global AI enthusiasts, we're looking at a theft that took place and security chaos at the AI summit that's really grabbed negative headlines. We're going to have a Bengaluru CEO joining us who tells us how at the sought-after AI summit, his AI wearables were stolen during a high-security check. We'll take you through those details. And also on our top story tonight, a survey says Gen Z is dumber than the previous generations. Why? Because of screen attachment. Details on our panel with that. And also our top story tonight, SUV driver who is the SUV that was driven by a minor crashes into a boy. It's a story a few weeks ago, but the mother comes out now to appeal, asking for justice, saying the reason why that SUV driver drove so fast was because he was trying to take a social media reel. We're taking you through details, as always, the headlines first. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says India can become global AI creator, not just consumer, startups, youth and tech ecosystem to drive jobs now, innovation and inclusive growth, all going hand in hand, says the Prime Minister. Mamata Banerjee slams the Election Commission of India over voter roll revision, SIR in West Bengal, calls poll panel run in Bin Tughlaq style, Mohammed Bin Tughlaq style. That's what she says. Alleges bias, early poll push and rule disparity with Bihar. Assam Chief Minister Hemanta Biswa Sarma has announced that former Congress President of Assam, Bhupendra Bora, will join the BJP on Feb 22nd. Senior leaders, including Dilip Saikia, to oversee this induction. Chief Minister also added that more Congress leaders are likely to join the BJP in the upcoming assembly polls. Siddaramaia's 22 MLAs, we hear, are set to leave for Australia. In fact, his close aides, those close to the Siddaramaia camp, are all set to leave to Australia and New Zealand. The tour tonight, after initial numbers of MLAs cut on Randeep Singh Surjewala's advice. Congress MLA's private tour sparks an attack from the opposition BJP. Priyank Kharge hails Bengaluru is among top global hubs for AI skilling and startups, says city ranks among top 5 worldwide. Kerala High Court strikes down Nava Kerala survey, calling it unlawful. The court flags a lack of budgetary sanction, marking a setback for the Pinarayi Vijayan government. Delhi High Court suspends actor Rajpal Yadav's sentence until March 18th in a check bounce case after 1.5 crore deposit to Murli Projects Private Limited. Actor thanks the fans, industry for the decades of support and love that he's got. All right, let's take you through our top story tonight on India's AI summit that's really grabbed eyeballs. India is hosting one of the most ambitious technology gatherings in its history. The India AI Impact Summit 2026 in New Delhi is being positioned as a defining moment indeed, a global South-led platform shaping the future of artificial intelligence. It was held under the government's India AI mission. The summit aims to bridge innovation and inclusion while projecting India as a responsible AI power. But even as India showcased its digital ambition, an uncomfortable incident has grabbed attention on the ground. Dhaneshra Yadav, CEO of Neo-Sapien XYZ, in fact a Bengaluru-based AI company, alleges that it was quite a nightmare to be part of the AI summit. He says that his AI wearables were placed at his stall that he had purchased to showcase it to the world and, of course, to Prime Minister Modi if he saw it. But unfortunately, during the security lockdown, all his material got stolen. In fact, ahead of the Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit there was a high security lockdown, which means that security forces move out people and they ensure they cordon off the areas and they do a thorough security check before the Prime Minister arrives. And during this period, which he says was 12 p.m. all the way to 6 p.m., this was a time during which the sanitization process was on. During this period, his wearables that he had kept in his stall were stolen. In fact, he says that he even reached out to, even before he left the venue, when he was asked to leave, he very clearly clarified with the security officers if he could leave his material there. And they said yes, that he could leave it because there are other people leaving their laptops and whatnot. So you can leave your stuff here. It's safe. So he trusted the high security officials and walked out only to come back and realize that all of his material was lost. It was stolen. The allegation has now raised some serious questions. If access was so tightly controlled by the top security of the Prime Minister and the AI summit management itself, how did equipment disappear so easily? Was there a breakdown in coordination between security teams? What really happened? The theft claim surfaced amid wider logistical chaos on day one at Bharat Mandapam. In fact, as soon as the AI summit opened up, there was so much confusion right outside that unfolded. Organizers struggled with overwhelming crowds, VVIP security protocols and bottlenecks. Registrations were reportedly halted after turnout far exceeded the venue capacity. Delegates describe standing in long queues for hours and being denied entry during VVIP movements. Some reported limited access to food and even water, while others said that security sweeps and last-minute closures left them stranded outside exhibition halls. In fact, voice AI startup Bolna's co-founder Maitreya Wag posted that he could not access his own booth that he had purchased after gates were shut. Tech founder Puneet Jain described 7 a.m. queues, followed by hours of waiting and a full evacuation before the Prime Minister's arrival. So a little chaotic indeed. Union Minister Ashwini Vaishnav has come out to acknowledge the disruption and also apologize, saying we apologize if any issue or inconvenience was faced, has come to the exhibitors. We apologize. Yet the scale and ambition of the summit remains significant. Remember, India is emerging as a global AI hotspot with Google, Microsoft and Amazon committing a combined $68 billion in AI and cloud infrastructure investment through 2030. Leaders from over 45 countries are attending, including Emmanuel Macron and a host of other top global leaders who are currently going to be part of the AI summit that will go on for a few days now. It's currently underway even as I speak. Global tech leaders such as Sundar Pichai, Sam Altman, Dario Modi and Demis Hassabis are all among the key voices who are shaping discussions and panels at that AI summit. So Prime Minister Narendra Modi's vision this was indeed, and he said the summit reflects a shared commitment to harness AI for human-centric progress and to amplify the voices of developing nations in global AI governance. Well, the ambition is clearly to position India as a trusted leader, balancing innovation and inclusion. But as the country seeks to shape such global AI norms, the day one turmoil is a reminder that credibility rests not only on vision, but on flawless execution and on security, the most basic. The world is watching. We've got to keep our safeguards. Well, let me quickly bring in Dhaneshra Yadav, CEO and co-founder of Neo-Sapien XYZ. He's in fact joining us live to give us a little more on what really happened. Thanks very much for speaking to us, Dhaneshra. I'm also going to introduce on our panel Ellen Rao, former DCP, Delhi Police. Also Dr. Naveen Bhatnagar, former DIG, NDRF and Chairman, Blue Cross Safety Management. Thanks all of you. Dhaneshra, what really happened? I mean, I'm sorry to hear that you've lost all your material, but I want to know if you've lodged a complaint. I want to know the response you've received. Have they assured you you're going to get it back, or have you already got it back and I don't know about it?
So they have been very proactive, and I want to really thank Delhi Police. They have been very proactive and very helpful since morning. In fact, they proactively reached out to me at 8:30 a.m. And since then, they have been in constant touch with me. And that is something which I figured out was very helpful, and I want to really thank them. They are figuring it out through CCTV. I am pretty sure they would be able to figure out, because our device, which is Neo 1, is a small device, right? So when you are looking through a CCTV also, it takes time to understand who has taken it. And hence it is taking time, but I am pretty confident by the support they have provided, they will be able to figure out. Additionally, compared to yesterday, right, today it felt that we actually delivered at global scale because management was much better, queues were much lesser, very easy to access halls, even the footfalls were good. So today was a really good day.
Wait, okay, can you then explain to us, Dhananjay, what really happened? Well, great. I'm happy to know that the security personnel are responding positively, but I want to know exactly what happened, and was this response from the security only after you put out that tweet that's now gone immensely viral, or when you reached out to them, were they, forthcoming right then and there? Did you go reach out to them on that very day?
So that day was very hectic, right? Yesterday, because we were standing outside from 12 o'clock to 6 o'clock, it was very hectic. And after this day, when we figured out that our devices were not there, I actually tweeted about it, right? Which I did not expect, but it generated quite a lot of virality. And after that, in the morning, first thing they started reaching out to me at 8:30 a.m. And I assumed they actually came to know by the time in the morning that this is something, because for them to understand what is going on also takes some time, right? So by morning they actually reached out and then they started figuring out everything with me.
Okay. Now tell me, how did you lose it? What really was the order of events?
So basically, we came to the event at
and if our viewers are catching this, we are beaming live. Beg your pardon, not exactly live. The visuals there on our screens are basically of the material Dhananjay had placed on his table. That's the one you see on top of our screens, and on the right you are looking at the visuals of overcrowding and chaos outside because of miscoordination. So images there showing Dhananjay's wearables. Now you got to explain what those wearables are and how you lost it.
So we are building Neo Sapien. This is basically Neo 1 by Neo Sapien. We are building India's first AI wearable, which acts like your personal assistant. So anything, if I am speaking, it has my voice fingerprinting. It also understands who I am speaking to, and accordingly builds an intelligence layer, which we call memory layer around it, to help you understand what were the conversation, what did I speak with a person first time, second time, third time, or who all did I meet at AI Impact Summit. It can also tomorrow fire up agentic play. So for example, if today I am sending you an email invite, not only will it send you an invite, but also send you a pre-read. Similarly, tomorrow, if my mom tells me better Swiggy se order kar do, not only will it understand what kind of cuisine she likes, but what kind of specific dish she likes, what kind of cuisine, and then it can take decision on your behalf. So we are building a deep context layer. So what we realize, AI understands only 5% of your context, which you proactively put on Chat GPT, Open Chat GPT, Claude, and Geminis of the world, right? Imagine AI had 100% of your context, which is speaking to doctors, speaking to your friends, everyone around it. If it has so much of an intelligence, it can start taking decisions on your behalf. So this is something which we are building. And now what essentially happened yesterday was at 9:30 a.m., we went to our booth, set up basically all our colors and basically our devices over there. By 12 o'clock, we were told that we are going to cordon off the area. They were going to cordon off the area, sanitize the area. So while leaving, what essentially happened was that first of all, I tried staying back. So I told one of the security personnel that we are a patented tech and we are India's first AI wearable. Can we have an opportunity to stay back? So they had initially told that one person can stay back and that I should stay back. But then there was another group of security personnel which came and they started telling that I had to leave. So then after requesting him, he still told to leave. And that's when I decided to leave. But before leaving, I asked him, should I leave my devices there? So he was like, yeah, this is a protected zone. Don't worry, others have also left their wearables over there.
And these are security personnel who do the Prime Minister's security checks. Basically, they cordon off the area to check if the venue is fit enough for the Prime Minister to arrive. Before he arrives, a couple of hours earlier itself, they sanitize the place. These are the officers?
So that I am not aware whether those were the government officer or basically from the expo itself. But they start, so those I am completely not aware about, but there were security personnel. And it could be basically directly from the expo itself who first wanted to sanitize and then next level might be done with the other basically with PM's complete troop, right? That could be the second level. So I am completely not aware about whether it was the expo personnel or the other ones. But this is what happened. And after that, what essentially happened was till 12:30, 12:30 to 1, we were outside. And then we came to know that gates would open only after 5 p.m.
Oh.
Only after 5 p.m. And actually they opened only after 6:30 p.m. later.
And in the meanwhile, did you see this crowd outside, the chaos and the...
Yeah, so it was quite crowded, especially the lunch area. It was quite crowded, to be honest.
Because we got lots of, I saw a lot of complaints on social media on how the people who were waiting outside were not even informed that gates would be shut. There was no coordination. Once they were shut, people who owned stalls inside were also not able to enter. So lack of coordination, did you notice that as well?
So first thing first, right? They had actually told us to set up our booth by 9:30 a.m. Okay, which we were allowed to set up. But after that, they did not tell us that till what time will the gates be closed. That wasn't told to us. And hence what had happened was like people like me. So I basically ended up going back to my place. And meanwhile, one of the volunteers from Expo only, who actually became a very good friend, who actually is passionate about what we are building. Also, I told him that since you are a part of Expo, can you go and collect the devices? So when he went at 6:30, yes, he realized that all the devices were stolen. And then he did a video call and shared the pictures with us.
Oh, so you didn't even notice it yourself. You were not allowed inside.
So because it was closed till 6:30 when we realized it did not completely make sense for us to remain back for so long, right? So we came to know about it then, since we knew this person who was a part of Expo, who was also someone who actually liked our company. He told us, sir, I will go and collect your devices as soon as the gates are open. When he went, that is the time when he realized that those devices were not there.
My God. Let me bring in our former police, Ellen Rao. So, as in your experience as a DCP, what does this look like? The security personnel locking up and cordoning off the areas 6 hours before the Prime Minister comes. I've heard of 2 hours, 3 hours, but 6 hours, and then and it's such a large-scale event with so many people, so many stalls. So probably there must have been more intense checks, and it is with the Prime Minister's arrival is important, his safety is important, and it's not just the Prime Minister, you have several other world delegates as well present there. So I understand that it takes a few hours, but the most basic is coordination, to let people know that this is how it works, this is the protocol, and more importantly, the equipment, people's personal belongings that were there in their stalls that they had purchased. If safety is not the security agency's responsibility, then whose it?
Nabila, good evening to you. And this is really a very serious and shocking incident which has been narrated by Mr. Yadav, Dhaneshra Yadav. One thing is definitely clear that there seems to be lack of coordination in this whole scenario, coordination among the Expo people or the organizers and the police maybe itself. And as you have asked me about the protocol of VIP security, that is definitely PM has a very great threat, you know, and in addition to PM, so many other delegates of all international level people and presidents were there. Though the security must have been, definitely it was a duty of the security people to ensure that it should be very smooth checking of security equipments and security of the area that is to be sanitized by them. But 6 hours before, I don't think that it was necessary. It is normally 3 to 4 hours. And definitely during that period, they sensitized all the area. And like Mr. Dhaneshra said that he was asked to go away. That was also something strange that the area should have been sensitized in presence of at least one person, as he was rightly saying that initially it was done. But later on, another team came and then they also asked him to leave that station. But at the same time, that is also responsibility of the police or the organizers or the person concerned who were there in charge of that zone. that safety and security of very sensitive instrument, like in this, Mr. Dhaneshra saying that they were bending upon that this is very high-end equipment that was there and it was lost. And I'm happy that the police response after that it was correct, but initially it definitely seems to be less coordination among the agencies, among the stakeholders of this summit, and that definitely had a very bad message has been conveyed to the international level. I think the organizers and the police and the expo people definitely will take care of this.
No, I understand, sir, but my point is that this ideally should have been a no-go zone to anyone, any mischief monger. Because imagine you have Prime Minister's security.
Yes, that is very important. That if the things have been lost, definitely some mischief monger or some stranger, some.
No, but how if you have such a high security zone that's cordoned off, with just the people who are, sanitizing the place for ahead of the Prime Minister's arrival. I've been part of events where the Prime Minister's arrived. I've had the good fortune to meet with Prime Minister Narendra Modi myself, and I know what a sanitization process really looks like, right? And it does not take 6 hours, at least 2.5 to 3 hours. I've been privy to that. And I see how it works. They take a list of names of people who are ideally supposed to be around. They're very clear about who are going to be in and who are going to be out. So I understand if they've asked him to go out, but if something of, if it's his asset, right? At the end of it, it's his asset. If his asset is kept on his booth that he had purchased, and if assurances were given by the security professional, they're saying nothing's going to happen, just go, because all of them are leaving their laptops, so you have nothing to worry, then how did it go missing? That's my question. If these are such polished, seasoned security personnel, because I don't think anybody else apart from such top-notch professionals will be doing Prime Minister Modi's security sanitization. If they are such thorough professionals, how did it go missing? That's what I'm asking. How is it possible? It should be virtually impossible for anyone to break through.
Nabila, this also doesn't seem to be impossible for me as well, because the security persons are very sophisticated, very honest, and all these very polite also. And in that area where the area has been sensitized, then nobody can be seen after that, after sensitization. And that maybe, I'm presuming that maybe that reason, after coming to our Honorable Prime Minister here in that spot, and after that the 5:30 or 6 o'clock that the gates were remained closed for others also, that is also something very strange. I think that there seems to be the lack of communication by the organizers to the visitors or the stakeholders, that they had to be standard outside the gates. And as you are rightly saying, that the person who has allegedly stolen this very high-end equipment, that definitely he cannot have an approach to that booth of Mr. Dhaneshra Yadav, and without that, that thing cannot be stolen. But I think that I am also very confident that police will be definitely investigating it very seriously, and Mr. Dhaneshra will get this equipment.
Sorry, sir, but this is a high secure zone, and I'm assuming a theft at that in a space like that would have been cracked by now. It's well beyond 24 hours. CCTV cameras should have been there. I'm sure it is there. Dr. Naveen Bhatnagar, would you want to come in on this? How important is CCTV cameras and security tools right now for police to investigate and bring this, bring his equipment back to him? I don't know if it's still in good shape for him to receive it back, but my point is that CCTV cameras may have been there.
Yeah, so in this condition, in fact, we are making the plan A, B and crisis management. 3 plans before such event comes, or in such type of meetings and valuable this thing organizing such a AI and other where the foreigners are coming is a prestigious issue. So anyhow, a lot of CCTV cameras are there, watch dogs are there, our security personnel are checking, NSG people are there, CISF people are there, and other agencies are there who are highly skilled and trained in this such type of events and such type of working. So anyhow, but it happened due to the mismanagement or some communication problem. It happened like that because there was no such agencies. That's called the crisis management agency, or some agencies are required. Some head is required to control of such type of events, which is missing here. That is why it happened, because somebody is saying something, another was saying something, another was saying something. So it's a dangerous thing. It happens in this Palam airport also, when there was some crisis of aircraft lifting. So the same thing happened. So I mean to say that CCTV, electronic gadgets, sensors, and all these equipments are important to trace out the culprits, to have a watch over the activity of these such people. But our this team, especially the crisis management team, is require one head who can control or monitor, because when PM is coming, foreign delegates are coming, so it's a prestige issue. Now you see the channel of other countries, you will feel that there is a lot of wrong things are being over narrative in that countries against the India's image. We are making this AI thing here in India. But
look, this is a first of a kind event in India, and we should be mighty proud of it. We are. But we want to call this out for the only reason because we do not want our name to be tarnished like this on global headlines, right? And if this could happen to Dhaneshra, it could happen to anyone. You have global delegates who are coming. We don't want to be shamed on a global platform. So it's important for us internally to ask questions of the lack of coordination. And we are looking at so many blind spots. Clearly, the police, the SPG, the special teams, security teams there, while coordinating, there have been so many loopholes and, blind spots through which it seems like instances like this have happened. But this is something that they should have accounted for. It's surprising they haven't. And it's not like it was open to just anybody. There were strict registration process, protocols of who can be there. There was a limit as well. So despite that, if this was overcrowded, despite that, if there were, if they breached the seating capacity, then there was clearly a leakage which wasn't plugged in time. Now, that responsibility security forces have to take, along with the ministry who's done it. But Dhaneshra, you were saying something which while Sir was speaking, what did you want to say? CCTV footage, did they assure you they're going to pull it out?
Yeah, so basically they took me today to to check on the CCTV footage. And I think it was from the time they were opening the gate, right after PM Modi leaving it, their entourage leaving it, the small time where they were about to open the gates, that was the time that someone might have taken the devices. Now in our case, it's also, I will give benefit of the doubt for basically police to figure it out, because our devices are also significantly small. So when you are looking from a CCTV camera, a person can simply put the device and take it away. So it's very difficult to figure it out, which I will tell you, every hour they have been giving me a call and telling me that we will figure it out together. And this kind of support for me, I truly, truly appreciate. And that is something today I took away, that even today when I met the police, right, I had this feeling, and I like being completely unbiased, right? I had this feeling that I am in correct hands and they would be able to figure it out.
I'm very happy to hear that the police have responded very positively, but I would assume if this happened in another country, in the West, it would have been cracked in a few hours, not few days. It's been how long now since this happened? Yesterday?
Yeah, yesterday.
It's yesterday to today. It's good 24 hours. No news today yet, so we're hoping something comes about tomorrow. But a quick one on how much does it cost, your material?
Again, more than the costing, which I tell everyone, is the effort, right? It's about coming via flight, booking accommodation, then trying to present something, right? Arranging the complete logistics. So it's all completely effort. In terms of device, it's 12,000 per device. But more for me, it's about the effort one puts in, right? Coming all the way, figuring out everything, logistic, making it there on time. So that is a bigger effort.
Did you finally come back? I mean, today did you go to the summit?
Yeah, I did go today because again, I did not wanted to miss an opportunity to showcase what we are building for the people.
So
And
what
today,
about your material? You had backup?
no, I did not have. Okay, so we were showing the video, and there is one device which I have been wearing for a long time. So this I showcased it. But yeah, today it was.
Did people come and tell you that we saw your viral post and
Yeah,
give you show you some empathy?
Yeah, there were lots of people who showed us empathy, and they were very curious about learning what we are doing, which was really good, right? Basically, lots of people were encouraged to come meet us and figure out what we are building. So this is something which I realized that today was much better for us overall. Everything was much more seamless. The kind of crowd and the energy which came in was also much better. So overall, it felt like in terms of also governance, right, we were able to pull our socks very fast and create a really good day too. And in terms of people coming in, they were so curious about what we are building. That
Did you
it
meet
sort of
with
made my
the
day.
IT Minister, Ashwini Vaishnav?
No, we were not able to meet.
He's also apologized for all the chaos that
Yeah.
may have happened and whatnot. But all right, so this was the first round, the first summit. India can certainly do better, and we are here to not to demean and berate an effort, a collective effort that's been put out to establish such a massive marquee event. It's only I think a bid for us to ensure that the security forces are in tandem, to ensure that they are working effortlessly in coordination, because there's that much energy going into it. So why should there be gaps? Why should there be blind spots? Why should there be loopholes? It's easy to fix, and I think your story now will encourage them to do a better job the next time. Dhaneshra, I really hope that you get your material back. We will certainly follow up on this case. I really want to know what the police have said and how they bring it back for you. I'm more interested in knowing that, and probably we'll do a follow-up story with you, because you're also a Bengaluru-based founder, and Bengaluru always has my heart. So thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining us here tonight.
Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Slip into a short break. We'll be right back. On the other side, a survey says that this Gen Z generation is dumbest of all. We're going to tell you why on the other side.
रश्मि, ये मैडम बड़े शहर से छोटे शहर बसने जा रही है, बताओ। छोटे छोटे शहरों में ही तो है बड़े बड़े अखाड़े, नए नए दावपेच सीखेगी और फ्यूचर में मेडल जीतेगी। पर बेटा, इनका फ्यूचर?
बड़े पापा, SBI लाइफ से इनका फ्यूचर सिक्योर है।
अभी तो इसकी जीत के इरादा पक्का है। करो पूरे अपने इरादे, अपनों से किए सभी वादे। SBI लाइफ अपने लिए, अपनों के लिए।
Every champion's journey starts with second thoughts.
क्या हुआ?
Till they see it's possible and there is someone who truly believes in them.
एक दिन बहुत बड़ा आदमी बनना है ना?
Orchids, the international school, raising 85,000 champions across India.
ये शहर भी तो अंगना तेरा मेरा, इसको भी रंग दो।
Birla Opus Paints.
से आपने आईसीआईसीआई लोम्बार्ड पे भरोसा रखा और आपके सपनों को सुरक्षित रखने का मौका दिया। शुक्रिया इंडिया। आईसीआईसीआई लोम्बार्ड, निभाए वादे।
पढ़ता है, खेलता है, झूलता उछलता है, दौड़ता कभी कभी दौड़ कराता है, आगे आगे बढ़ता है इंडिया, अमूल दूध पीता है इंडिया।
All right, here's a survey that says that Gen Z is the dumber generation in compared to the millennials and the others. Well, Gen Z could be the first generation in modern times. According to a US survey, Gen Z could be the first generation in modern times to actually score lower than the one that came before them on key thinking skills, which kind of culminates to say that Gen Z is the dumbest of them all. The findings were written testimony submitted by neuroscientist and educator Dr. Jared Cooney Horvath, a PhD MED, to the US Senate Committee on Commerce, Science and Transportation. The neuroscientist told the US Senate that young people born between the late 90s and early 2010s are falling behind millennials on standard tests in areas like attention span, in memory, reading, math, problem solving, and overall IQ. And to make matters worse, he says, most of these young people are overconfident about how smart they are. Well, the smarter people think that they are, the dumber they actually are, is what this finding says. The very generation expected to lead the next frontier of innovation, growing up alongside artificial intelligence and automation, is, according to some researchers, struggling with basic reading comprehension and fundamental numeracy skills. Well, critics argue that constant scrolling reduced deep reading and heavy. In fact, critics are saying and arguing that constant scrolling on their phones or laptops have reduced deep reading and heavy reliance on digital tools, maybe reshaping how young minds process information. Stem from the fact that they are the first generation to grow up with constant screen time. Digital devices called educational technology take up most of their brain matter during class time and homework. And it's no substitute for real learning, of course, but well, as much as in some areas they might be more equipped, but it seems like in key areas of comprehension, they seem to fail. So what is this growing up glued to screens doing to kids' brains and their education in the long run? Taking this on, the 10th of December, Australia becomes the first country to ban children under 16 from accessing major social media platforms, including TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, X, and YouTube. And now in a broader international shift, other countries also like UK, Spain, Greece, and Slovenia also are exploring Australian-style curbs to restrict children's access to social media for under 16s. In India too, the Economic Survey of India of 2026 has recommended examining comparable regulations to curb screen time and enhance online safety. Along with this comes a push from UK that is racing towards a potential ban now and a tighter legal leash on AI chatbots. Well, the immediate trigger is a growing international backlash against Grok, the flagship chatbot developed by X. The system was found to be generating non-consensual sexualized images of women and children using simple text prompts, sparking outrage from child protection groups and lawmakers worldwide. So UK has the Online Safety Act, already regarded as one of the toughest digital regulatory regimes globally, but this does not cover one-to-one interactions between users and AI chatbots unless the content is shared publicly. The government says that it is this gap that will really now be closed in. Look, AI tools are already here. They're already being used for homework, support, language learning, coding practice, and creativity. So the challenge is how to manage risk without shutting down the opportunity. Regulation is essential, critics argue, but overtly restricting also becomes limiting for the generation growing up. So is regulation really the answer, or is digital education and smarter design the real solution? Well, let me quickly bring in our guest, Kanish Gaur, digital technology and AI expert, Dr. Sudhir Kumar. In fact, let me start with also Rishi Juneja, who's a child psychologist and director of Mind Ease Clinic. Thanks very much, both of you. I'll start with Rishi Juneja on this, on the Gen Z being the dumber generation and compared to the others because of a lot of screen time that they're consuming. How accurate does this sound to you?
Hi, thanks for calling me on the platform. Just a little correction, it's Rashi Juneja.
I beg your pardon,
Rashi.
Psychologist. Yes.
Perfectly okay, human error. Okay, so quickly
Probably millennials are the dumber. We don't know as yet.
Yeah, so we are not AI.
Yeah.
So coming to the point, to the research per se, see, there are few things that we have to take into consideration. First of all, the research has been done in US, right? So are we in a right state to generalize the results to Indian population as well? Because the data is homogeneous in nature. It's not heterogeneous. The sample has not been collected from the worldwide population. First, the first major concern, and the tests that we are using are not very up to date. There's still a lot of advancements that are required in order to assess multiple cognitive functions, I would say, as a clinician. The next important point that I want to highlight, yes, the attention span has declined or has decreased drastically with respect to Gen Z, because I've taught in university as well, so that's how I can comment upon it, dealing with students. So what exactly happened is you look up to a reel or a video for 30 seconds or 1 minute, and even using AI, you give prompts. So giving one-word prompt is very different from explaining yourself or what you need or your thoughts and your creativity in totality in multiple sentences. So you are lacking on words, you are lacking on attention, you are lacking in expressing yourself and your creativity. So, and obviously if your attention is less, whatever we're gonna conceive, we're gonna memorize would be reduced in its size and capacity. And that would eventually lead to lesser neural circuits in our brain. So everything we learn is like a circuit that develops in our brain. So if we learn less, we have less attention span, there would be less neural circuits, and eventually the IQ would come less on the scales.
I'm probably, well, you said it's not comparable to India because it's a homogeneous population that they've done the survey, but I don't know. I beg to differ on that, because you have now mobile phones being used across the globe, same access to social platforms. In fact, you have now that way there are no more borders. Thanks to social media platforms, there are no more borders. You have people interacting across the globe so seamlessly that you can no more say India, US, UK, all kids, all Gen Z are alike, right? But my question is, are we being a little too harsh here? Do you think Gen Z is able to process information much better than the others? Because one needs to be adapting to the fast-paced digital world. They're probably far ahead than us.
I won't say that they are fast or they are slow right now, right? Because there are a lot of factors that play a role, and especially the individual differences. That's why some people are intelligent and some score a little low on the IQ test. But yes, exposure is definitely better than what we used to have. But at the same time, the dependency on AI has increased, which has reduced the expression of other skills that are there. So that could be one of the strongest reasons.
Tell me, what kind of cognitive abilities are impaired? How does it impair cognitive abilities? Screen time, excess. How does excess screen time? How does excess screen time impair cognitive abilities?
So what exactly happens is, when we are too much into screen, definitely there's a habit of mostly our screen time goes on to social medias. So there's a habit of scrolling reels or jumping from one tab to another. So the capacity in which we read, we have our focus, we have our attention reduces. So we are in a rush to get that stimulation. So we switch from one tab to another, or from one reel, if we are not liking, even for like 20 seconds, we switch on to another reel. Similarly, so if such an individual would sit and read, let's say, start reading a book, probably 10 lines, 12 lines, and then there'll be a boredom, or there is a distraction, or eventually my attention would go onto my screen again. So that flow, that focus would reduce, and it would, not allow me to complete the task in hand.
Okay, so you're saying one is attention deficit because you want something new constantly, quick gratification, want something to please you instantly, and boredom also so quickly because there's so much to that there is to offer on these platforms that you get bored so fast and want to move on. And could that translate to real life, that behavior?
You have to be more specific with the question.
No, I mean, I can be as specific. This is as specific as I can get. Could this behavior that they're, indulging in on social platforms, like constantly moving from one reel to the other, could that translate into real life with your family members? How did their relationships turn out to be because of this obsession? And, the mood that they have on social platforms versus the actual real-time conversations that they have with the people they're in relationships with.
Yes, it does have an impact because, see, you have used one more word here, obsession. So I am not going that much into that term, but more than obsession, I would call it addiction. So if there is an addiction, I would want to give my screen more time as compared to my real life. Also, if I'm more involved in screen, I'm giving more attention there. I want to keep myself updated with respect to my social media per se. That would eventually take that time out of my real life. So giving more attention to my relationships, to my romantic relationships, to other relationships, to friendships. So my energy and my expression there would reduce significantly. And it would eventually lead to, there have been a lot of researches that says that increased screen time leads to issues like low mood, loneliness, because I can talk to screen, but screen can't talk back to me. So there is no emotional connect that is taking place. And we humans do need emotional connect.
I'm sure they're also overwhelmed with this kind of information. I don't even know if humans are geared to handle this kind of onslaught, information onslaught. Kanishk, if you want to come in on this, the Gen Z generation declared to be dumber than the rest, according to a US neuroscientist. What's your view on that? Have you dealt with Gen Z?
Nabila, I don't need a US scientist report. I'm dealing it day in, day out. I face so much of issues with Gen Zs, I can't tell you. Everyone just hooked on to an AI tool. The ability to write, to analyze has stopped. Everyone believes that they can just let an AI tool do whatever they were doing. So the ability to analyze data, the ability to produce outcomes has gone. I face a massive challenge with the ability to tell people to derive outcomes, have logic, have rationality, even to do simple calculation. I can tell you that today the impact is such that when you hire people from the Gen Z category, the time it goes in telling them and training them on how they need to be doing things is enormously high. So there is loss of productivity, I can tell you. I am facing a massive challenge with a lot of Gen Zs. Personally, I can tell you, because everyone's forgotten how to write simple English. Everyone's just using AI to write. The second key part is that everyone's looking for a shortcut and not looking at precision, not looking at decision making, not looking at analyzing things in depth. So the ability to perform research has drastically gone down.
The key part is outsourcing our thinking entirely, and that's what's happening. But do you blame the AI companies for dumbing down the population at large?
I don't think so. It's the AI companies, it's the people. They stopped applying their minds. The Gen Zs have stopped applying them.
It's like sugar, right? Once you get on to sugar, it's very hard to get off. And when you know there's something better in taste, why would you not opt for it? And something that won't kill you instantly, then you go with it.
Absolutely. So even people are using it for lying. So we had a employee who faked his health and asked for medical leave. When we asked him to produce a medical certificate, he generated an AI-used medical certificate which had banned COVID drugs mentioned on it. So he forgot even to apply his mind what medical certificate he needs to produce to do this. And then when we ask people for writing on things about their hobbies or their passions, it's basically AI. And when we start using AI plagiarism tools, we find that 90-95% of the content which come to us is written by chatbots and not by humans. And the justification that comes is that we have been training AI to become better version of us. So I have to tell them that if I have to help, I no more need you.
Amazing. All right. All I can say, as I'm short on time here, is that, you know, this reasoning that they're giving to explain why they're giving you AI-generated answers is so that they can make AI better. Wow. That's also a smart one, though. Well,
they say they have fed everything about themselves to AI. So AI would be able to do a better job in terms of giving outcomes.
Why
so
do you need,
I go back to them and tell them.
Whatever happens to the workforce then in the future, if they are going to give up to AI so easy, then that's it. Then their job only is at risk. Well, thanks very much.
One more thing when I go to business schools, I'm a visiting faculty at 2 or 3 business schools. I have found that most of the knowledge today is through content generated reels, and there's no depth. Forget classroom curriculum. The knowledge of the Gen Z is through generated reels, which is given by content influencers. So the content influencers are actually doing the hard work of creating content, and Gen Zs are just scrolling. So there is less focus on what is being taught on the class and more focus on watching the reels and getting instant gratification. So there is the new knowledge is superficial. There's no depth. That's again one of the reasons. So education, traditional education is losing its paradigm. It's more of content generated reels. People believe they can do like a content generated MBA. That's again a big challenge.
All right, I'm hoping this changes around and you have AI helping them apply their mind more than taking away their thinking skills. So thanks very much, both of you, for joining us on that. Quick look at all our top stories tonight. Let's start with French President Emmanuel Macron's day out in India. A major boost for ties between India and France as French President Emmanuel Macron visited India for the Global AI Summit, with both nations moving to deepen strategic cooperation. Prime Minister Narendra Modi called France a special partner while inaugurating the H-125 assembly line in India, saying the helicopter capable of flying to Mount Everest heights will be made locally, and calling 2026 a turning point in India-Europe ties after the ambitious FTA with European Union. Well, it seems like the defense deal that's done between the two countries, while you already have Rafale, that a deal that was done with France on Rafale jets just days ago. So Emmanuel Macron really very happy to be here in India yet again, marking another deal with those helicopters. On his 4th visit to India, Macron has called the ties with India as remarkable and unique, built on trust and shared ambition, as France reaffirms support to free trade and deeper cooperation in AI, IMEC, startups, defense platforms, helicopter assembly and fighter jet engines under a growing global strategic partnership. He's highlighted cooperation in the Indo-Pacific emerging tech, AI and global initiatives like the International Solar Alliance and the India-Middle East-Europe Economic Corridor. Well, earlier, both sides held detailed bilateral talks as well, focused on defense, innovation and global development. Macron also paid tribute to victims of the 2008 terror attacks at the Taj Mahal Palace Hotel, observing a moment of silence. He met film personalities as well while he was in Mumbai. In fact, this event, this bilateral talk, the chat that Prime Minister Modi and he had was in Mumbai. He also, on the sidelines, met with some film personalities, including Shabana Azmi, Anil Kapoor, Manoj Bajpayee, Zoya Akhtar, Richa Chadha, Ricky Cage, calling it a celebration of cultural ties. Overall, the visit highlights deepening India-France cooperation across defense, technology, culture and global strategy. Well, one thing's for sure, Emmanuel Macron started his day off with a nice jog that he took off on Marine Drive in Mumbai, a very casual run that he went in the morning before he actually started off his day with this bilateral meetings. Now, a sad story of a grieving mother who's still searching for answers nearly 2 weeks after her 23-year-old son, Sahil, Dhaneshra, was killed in a horrific road crash. Her son was thrown off his bike and crushed in a violent collision by a boy who was a minor driving a Scorpio SUV. Today, she says she wants only one thing, justice. But as the investigation unfolds, more questions are emerging. Of course, fresh dashcam footage now reveals chilling details of how the young boy, her son, lost his life. Police say the SUV was overspeeding, and while a girl seated right next to the driver, supposedly the sister, was trying to record a video for social media reel. Moments before the impact, the SUV narrowly missed a bus, then slammed head-on into Sahil's motorcycle, flinging him into the air. He died on the spot. The crash occurred at 11:57 a.m. near Lal Bahadur Shastri College. A Scorpio taxi and Sahil's bike were found wrecked with his body by the roadside. Multiple vehicles were damaged, including the taxi. Its driver, Ajit Singh, was also hospitalized. His statement has been recorded. Doctors await final medical findings. The postmortem confirms catastrophic craniocerebral injury, severe brain trauma from the impact to that boy who died. Well, let me tell you, what's really shocking is the driver's age. The FIR lists him as 19, but documents including his birth certificate suggest that he's just over 17. A minor driving without a license. He's currently out on bail to write his exams. He's been given bail, and that's what sparked all the more outrage. Police say the father has been charge-sheeted and could be held liable. For the family, the legal battle has just begun. Investigators are examining reckless driving, supervision and accountability. And for the mother there, she lost his son. She says, just for a reel. A major breakthrough has come in the Indore MBA student murder case. Police have arrested a prime accused, Piyush, from Mumbai after he remained on the run for several days. The crime took place in Dwarkapuri police station area of Indore. During the interrogation, the accused allegedly confessed that he murdered the student, then sexually assaulted her, left the body at the spot and fled the city. Police say that he kept changing locations across Mumbai, including Panvel, in an attempt to evade arrest. In a shocking claim, investigators say the accused also performed so-called tantric rituals after the murder. He reportedly watched online videos, carried out these rituals, believing they would help him seek forgiveness from the spirits. According to the police, the motive appears to be personal. The accused allegedly wanted to marry the victim, but she was trying to end the relationship. A confrontation broke out after he saw a dating app on her phone. In a fit of rage, he strangled her. Investigators say the accused is giving contradictory statements and is being questioned intensively. Police are now probing the case from all possible angles. A major political shift is underway in Bangladesh. Now they have a new Prime Minister. Tariq Rahman has been sworn in as the Prime Minister of Bangladesh. He took oath by President Mohammad Shahabuddin at the